Good evening and welcome to the Indian Express. My name is Primankur Biswas and with me is Amil Bhatnagar who covers Himachal Pradesh for the Indian Express. Amil, you have been covering Himachal for the last few months. What do you think is the mahal?
Well, for both parties, this is largely a two-party contest between BJP and Congress, and it has been the case for the past many years. The interesting thing about Himachal politics is that since 80s, no government has been able to repeat itself. Alternatively, both BJP and Congress have won. So for BJP, the campaign right now is Rivas Badalna hai, that they have to change the trend and break the jinx by repeating the government. For the Congress, it's keep Rivas maintained rahega, and that the tradition will continue and BJP will go out of power and Congress will come back into the foray. This is a highly issue-based election. There are no larger concepts which the parties try to peddle in other elections. This is about unemployment, inflation, old pension scheme, as we all know, is a huge issue here. The apple farmer protest and other things that impact people in the daily lives. So it's a very, very issue-driven election this time, and we are going to see a very close contest so far.
As you said, the muddas are OPS and apple farmers and of course mehengai and of course berozgari is a big issue. But according to you, which will be the deciding mudda?
Well, I mean, it'll be premature to sort of pinpoint on one aspect and one poll promise as of now. But from the trend, it seems, and the response that both parties are getting, old pension scheme seems to be a key issue. There are around 2.5 lakh employees here, and another 1.5 lakhs who've been retired. So their protest has essentially been that as per the new pension scheme, the money goes from their pockets and the pension that they get is a fraction of what they're supposed to get as salaries. In old pension schemes, there is a certain guarantee of money. So, and here the general local talk is that pensioners decide the election here. The old pension scheme was removed in 2004 and after many years, now it has become a poll issue. So Congress has promised that they will bring back OPS. That has been their key poll promise since the beginning. BJP in their manifesto last week did not say anything about the OPS. They said that a committee has been formed and they will take a decision once the committee has made its deliberations. So largely BJP has remained silent on OPS, which will be a very deciding factor because people were looking forward to as to what BJP has to counter that. BJP has accused Congress of making a promise that will not be fulfilled because they feel that Congress has no power in the center, so they will not be able to implement this scheme. But Congress has brought in Ashok Gehlot from Rajasthan, Bhupesh Baghel from Chhattisgarh, both Congress-ruled states where OPS has been implemented, and both say that it's going to be working fine. So yes, OPS will be a deciding factor in Himachal as of now.
What about the women voters? What are the things that makes them decide which party they will go for?
So Himachal is unique in the sense that there is an almost equal number of male and female voters, around 25-26 lakh in the state, which is a very good number even by election commission standards. And therefore it goes on to say that women in the state have a very, very decisive call to make. And of course both parties have been trying to give out policies that are in favor of women. Like BJP says that we are empowering women by providing them 3 LPG cylinders across a year. Congress has said that they will give rupees 1,500 monthly allowance to women between the age of 18 to 60. So both are centered around women, and BJP for that matter has released an entire manifesto based on women. So women occupy a large workforce here. You can find them working in farms, you can find them working in the tourism industry, the hospitality industry, and there is a huge representation of women, although there is not enough representation in political terms. There are 24 women who've been out of 420 odd candidates who have been given tickets. So that's a very less fraction. So even when we see that women have a deciding vote when it comes to elections, they still don't find representation. And yes, so of course schemes centered around them, but remains to be seen which way they will swing.
Talking about the manifestos, both the parties have put out their manifestos. And what are the highlights of both Congress and BJP's manifestos?
So for Congress, it has been the fact that they promised OPS first, and they have said that in their first cabinet meeting they will provide 1 lakh jobs, government jobs to people, which is a huge promise. In Himachal, the employment is largely around government appointments, because there is a huge section that goes to the army, and there's another section that looks for government jobs, because there are no tech industries here, there are no IT industries here. There are very isolated industries of tourism, hospitality, and of course the apple farming. So people look forward and to advertisements in the paper whether any government board has come out with a bharti. So bharti is a big issue here. And so they have promised 1 lakh, Congress promised 1 lakh jobs. Then they have said that we will make up a startup fund of around 680 crores, which will give a starting corpus to people who want to start their own businesses. This is the same by BJP as well. They have also promised startup jobs. And BJP's key promise is that they will reduce the packaging GST on apple cartons back to 12%, which has been a major protest. They are saying that they will create 8 lakh job opportunities. They say that Congress is lying when they say that they will give jobs, because it's not possible. So they want to create job opportunities over a period of 5 years, which is their one of their key demands. And so yes, there is a focus on jobs. There is for BJP there has not been any announcement on OPS, any concrete announcement on OPS, and both parties are relying on a lot of social welfare schemes and a lot of freebies as well. Even though Prime Minister Modi said that he's against the Revdi freebie culture, but BJP has also promised cycles to school-going girls and scooties to women and girls pursuing higher education. So largely both parties are trying to give out a lot of sops, a lot of promises, and saying that we will give these additional incomes and additional things. But again, it's a smart voter here and they'll decide.
Tourism is one of the major industries in Himachal. What are the demands and what are the problems of the tourism industry here?
Well, actually, tourism, not just in Himachal, but across the country, was impacted during COVID. And we saw that because of the lockdowns, people were barely able to come to these places. And Himachal relies a lot on tourism, because as you must have roamed around Shimla as well, there's an entire economy. The backbone of it is people visiting. So in COVID, obviously, that took a back step. The BJP has been saying that they have been giving out financial assistance to people during COVID. There was an entire COVID plan in place that really helped people. But on the ground, there are a lot of issues with that, because the businesses, the losses that the businesses suffered during COVID, they're on the path to recovery. We cannot say that they have recovered entirely. So that economy is sort of still getting back to its step. And now they're hoping to get back from the customers that are coming now. Also, the price rise, the inflation has also impacted the tourism industry, because to run every setup in business, you need inputs. You need your gas cylinders for those who run eateries, and you need rents to pay if you're running an establishment. So virtually all of the prices have gone up in over the couple of years. So that has really pinched people. The price rise of diesel and petrol, which directly impacts the transport industry, which is a subsidiary of tourism here. So overall, the price rise has impacted the tourism here as well, and they will also be keeping that in mind while voting.
Moving to lighter topics, like I was wondering, one of these lovely stories you did was on the polling booth in Kinnaur, which has only 16 voters. Can you tell us more, elaborate more on the story?
I mean, a lot of people watching this or listening to this perhaps might have traveled to that route in Kinnaur. So if you have traveled to Kaza, the route to Kaza and Lahaul Spiti also goes through Kinnaur. So and there's a very good chance you might have crossed that place. It's a blink and a miss, because that it's a village of around 50 people and it only has 16 voters. So next time you go, there's a person named Tenzin and his wife Gulab. They run a small Kinnauri dhaba, and they are the two of the 16 voters. And Election Commission has set up an entire booth for those 16 people, because they believe that every vote matters, and they also believe that they matter, even though they form a very small number. So going there, the experience was to understand how people in such remote areas live. Because in general, there is an understanding of hills that we go for the views, we go for the pretty places, it's a tourist destination, and people do not really delve into what the issues of those people are, offering that service and helping other people. So in my interactions with them, I found them that they are living a very difficult life, because they have to stock up on water, for that matter, they have to stock up on ration, they are preparing themselves for a very long, harsh winter. And for them, their social contract with the government is about their own survival, because they are barely beneficiaries of schemes and they live so far off and disconnected. So for them, it's about their own survival, and that's how they view politics as. They were very appreciative of the Congress youth leaders reaching out to them during the rains here in landslide. It was a very bad rains here this season, so they were very happy about that. But all in all, it's about their own lives, and but they do believe that their vote matters. They believe that they are very much a part of democracy, even though they live in such an area, and they hope that perhaps in the coming times more attention is given to their infrastructure, to their water supply, to their houses, and perhaps even better job opportunities. Like the nearest hospital is around 30 kilometers for them. The nearest cinema hall is around 250 kilometers. Wow. Tenzin has never been to a cinema hall for that matter. So it's a very different life, and perhaps the fact that they feature in this democratic process, I hope they also feature in policy making as well.
True. Elections here is so different from where I come from. I come from Bengal. You come from Uttar Pradesh. So it's much more. It's much more quieter. It's much more peaceful. So, what is the main character of election in Himachal, according to you?
Actually, I covered UP elections also this year in January. So this is my second elections the same year. And it's not just the terrain that is different, it's the entire political flavor of the elections. And in UP, there is a more muscled politics. There is a more aggressive politics when it comes to their issues. There is a more communal undertone to issues because there is an overarching Hindu-Muslim narrative in UP that has been established by political parties with their speeches. So in UP we see a more aggressive reached out campaign, more people joining in. There are big cadres, big parties. There are so many chief ministers who come from Uttar Pradesh, so obviously, and also UP has 80 seats. So the scale of the elections is very high. Here the elections are also defined by geography and terrain, because access to people here is also very difficult. So you can't just hold a rally and expect thousands of people to turn up. So of course it's difficult to reach out. That's why issues are more local here. There is a community sense here because like they also said, like Tenzin also said, they said that when we had to live or survive winters, we had to rely on each other from our neighbors and people around us. We can't expect a government official all the time to come out and help us. So they are self-reliant. So that also gives them a sense that our leader should also come from within us. So there is less reliance on this national politics. Like BJP's campaign here has been national. Like PM Modi is the face, Article 370, Ram Mandir.
Even uniform civil code. Do you think that will make a dent?
I really don't think so, because Himachal Pradesh has a 95% Hindu population and has a 2% Muslim population. When I asked the CM about this, he said that BJP is a national party and they have national commitments, and UCC is part of that scheme. So perhaps they want to take states on board like Goa and Uttarakhand. So Himachal will also come on board. So there is I'm from my understanding, there is a run up to 2024 as well. So there is a larger picture on that. But here it's more issue based. People are more concerned about their pensions, their expenses, and they are smart voters here. Like you cannot fool them on a larger idea of nation or religion here. Those cards don't work here as much. So people are looking at their local leaders, and that's why there is a huge rebellion also in BJP, because local people have not been given. So the flavor is more region based here, and people are fearless about voicing their opinion. This is the reason why no government has able to repeat itself, because if they were in a hero worship mode or they were madly in support of one party, it would have reigned, but it has not been. They do not make people feel comfortable with by ruling again and again. So more than 80% literacy rate here, voter awareness is very high. So, and more than 70% voter turnout, that means it's a very smart electorate, and they always show their strength.
Okay, thank you for joining us, Amil. And thank you all for joining in the Indian Express live from Himachal. This is me signing off from the ridge in Shimla. Thank you.